So a good place to practice your 2RF is press F12 when you're in game, go to training room, and then click on one of the trainings where you don't really need to like actually press the button. You can just keep on resetting over and over again. So usually I'll just pick the leg sweep training. My game is taking quite a bit to load though. Alright, so select training, we'll do knockdown. So what I mean by preload is when you're starting the 2RF, like if you notice I'm going to press Z and then preload my 2 in. So I already pressed my 2, right? But you saw that after the Z went off, the 2 immediately right after, even though I didn't press 2 as soon as like the stun ended. So here it is again. So I'm going to press Z and 2, and then the 2 animation is going to be on the screen, but it's going to appear after I already pressed the 2. Like, it's not appearing as soon as I press it. Oh. It's hard to do this in slow motion, but... See? Like that. So I already took my hand off the keyboard after pressing 2, but it still went off. So anyways, this is pretty important because this will allow you to get... The animation for the 2 will go off as soon as your Z goes off. Or as soon as the Z pull animation lock ends, your 2 will go off. This is pretty important, so you can fit in the maximum... You can start as early as possible and fit in the maximum amount of 2RFs that you're supposed to be able to in a 2-second. So, once again, in a 2-second stun, such as Z pull, you should theoretically be able to get 2RF, 2RF, RMB. So here it is again. And then I think if you guys are like just brand new to 2RFing, you should always know that if you can't RMB something, then that means your 2RF may be a bit too slow. So I'll show you an example. Oh, alright. It's hard for me to miss this, I swear. I'm just kidding. Alright, here it is again. See, if you do it like that and you can't RMB afterwards, it means you're going too slow because the stun ended before you can knock up. But if you're brand new, like completely brand new to KFM, like you just want to make a KFM and you want to start like PvPing a bit and you want to like just like do combos and stuff, but you don't know how to 2RF, then another alternative is 22F2, which 22F2 will also like get you in the rhythm for 2RF. Because if you think about how 2RF actually goes, then you'd notice that it goes, you get 2 Fs in, you get 2 Rs, and you get 2 2s in. And the only difference between 22F2 and 2RF is you're missing 1 F and replacing 2 Rs with a shin kick. I mean, the F is definitely a lot of damage, but if you can't 2RF perfectly because of ping or whatever, then you should definitely just stick to 22F2. So here's 22F2 again. Also, the more you practice 22F2, the more you'll get 2RF, because the second 2 to the F is the same rhythm as R to F. And then the same rhythm from F to 2 is like the 2RF. So if you get used to 22F2, you can definitely do 2RF, or like once you feel comfortable doing 22F2 a lot. And then here's the actual rhythm for 2RF. I'll like move my mic a bit closer maybe, so you can like hear it. Plus you can like see the keyboard on the presses. I'll try to like have my hands a bit upwards so you can see it a bit better. Here it is again. So again, I'm like actually preloading in the commands, but the preload has to be like a certain distance away from the next input. So if you notice, I'm pressing it, but it's not actually appearing on screen until like maybe a quarter of a second after. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'll keep on doing it just so you can get the rhythm a bit down. Okay, so that's 2RF in a nutshell, and I guess you can just replay the VOD or whatever if you're still confused about that, but that's how the rhythm goes. And then moving on to a bit more advanced combos for KFM, you have a skill called Searing Palm. It's probably your most important skill in the neutral game, especially against like assassins and destroyers. But anyways, so Searing Palm actually inflicts a 30% movement speed slow on people, and after 10 seconds, if you don't proc the stun on Searing Palm, they get knocked down for 3 seconds. So Searing Palm also procs after you hit someone 8 times, so it hits, but you really only have to hit people 5 times, because Searing Palm puts a tick on, if you can see here. See, like it'll keep on ticking. So by the time you get your 5th hit in, you should be able to extend the stun. Yeah, 2-2 F2 gives you the rhythm you need to 2RF afterwards, like a lot more smoothly. So sometimes it's better to use 2-2 F2 if you want to get into the rhythm, if you're not sure what your ping is, and you just want to see like, because once you get really good at 2RFing, you'll know when you're lagging. And 2-2 F2 is like a precursor to show how much you're actually lagging. So anyways, so going for Searing Palm Combos, you want to get 5 hits in before a stun ends. So, for example, the most common application of this is if you like knock someone down, and then let's say you tech chase with Comet Strike, you're gonna do 2RF, 2X, and then Z pull. So it'll look something like this. I'll try to do it a bit slower. So at the end of your first CC chain, you're gonna put your Searing Palm on them, and then go into the next CC. And then when you go into the next CC, so the next CC is the first hit, and then 2RF, that's 4 hits, and then 2, on the next 2 they get restunned for 2 seconds. And then you should be able to fit in another 2 more 2RFs, and then 2RF, 2RF, 2 knockup. So here it is in full motion. So if you notice there, I used 2-2 F2 at the start of my Z pull, because I noticed that my first 2 came out quite slowly, which meant I was probably lagging or had a small spike there, so that let me adjust my timing a bit. Here it is again. So notice I was able to get an extra F and an extra 2, and then 3 2RFs in that chain. You're only you're only supposed to get 2 in a 2-second, but when you factor Searing Palm in, you should be able to get close to 4. But you have to do it after a 2-second, because here, I'll show you. If I do Z-pull into immediate Searing Palm, you won't have enough time to actually get all 5 hits off. So if you notice that brief pause where Swift Strike came out instead of Shin Kick, that's where the combo was dropped, because you don't actually have enough time to get 5 hits off in the 2 seconds, plus the 3 ticks of Searing Palm to extend it. But for a skill like Tremor, which is a 3-second stun, you actually have enough time to use Searing Palm and get off the 5 hits needed to proc the extra stun. And it looks like this. So I was able to get V, 2XF, 2RF, 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 2 knockup there. Here it is again. Oh yeah, I also forgot to mention that when you do your 2RF, everything should be silent except for the F kick, the cyclone kick. Alright. One more time. Oh, I messed up there. Small spike to 142, but no big deal. Oh, actually I was at like 150 ping there. Yeah, sometimes the ping right next to you will let you know that you're actually just lagging there. And there's nothing you can do about that except for like change up your 2RF rotation to, like I said, T2F2. So that is your basic application of Searing Palm, for extending stuns at least. But the real, like, hold on, I got a cough. So, like, the best way to use Searing Palm, though, is using it to use 1 CC into forcing into an aerial, into forcing another CC, without actually using any of your CCs. So, here's an example. And when they land, they're gonna get stunned. And it should look like that. So if you noticed, I only used my Z and my X. And then Flurry, Comet Punch, and Tremor will still be up. So here it is again, because the logic behind this is you're doing Z, 2RX, so you're applying X, and then you're going to be doing F to R, so you're getting those 3 hits in. And then when you knock up, and then do the aerial portion, they'll have taken 7 hits by then. And then when they land, they take the 8th hit, which is going to either be your 2 or your X, and then you can continue doing 2RF from there into a second knockup. So here it is again. Don't do that extra 2 at the end there that I just did. You can only fit in the smite, not that extra 2. Here it is again. And this in arena, this usually does about like 60 to 70% damage depending how lucky you are with your crits, which is insane. So 1 2-second stun and a Searing Palm, you should be able to do 70% if the other person doesn't tab. But at the same time, if that person tabs that, then you still have Flurry, Comet Punch, Tremor to catch them the second time and then finish them off. That's why this combo is like super strong for KFM. Here it is again. So another thing is, like, an advantage, if you just let them fall down, they might roll back. You can also tech chase with, like, RMB2 or your X. So, oh, hold on. So it's 2RX F2R. So 2R, so 2RF2R, or 2RX F2R, sorry. So 2RX F2R. It's kind of hard to do in slow motion though. And then see, at this landing part, if they use roll there, then you tech chase with X, and then they immediately get stunned. And then if they roll that, then they don't have a roll later on, right? So if they don't have a roll after that, like, so imagine they roll this, okay? So they roll, stun, 2RF2, and then you can go with Comet Punch. And then that's another 2-second daze, which they'll probably tab because at that point, they just already took like 60%, and they're going to take like another 20% from the next 2RF chain. So if you wait out their ground option, sometimes you can make them waste their roll there. Or you can use your ice for safe damage on the landing. So that when your next 2RF comes out, like, if they tab it, then they tab into ice and you're safe, right? So that's like another application of it. Don't do that. If you use ice to proc the last one, then you break. You can't do 2RFs in that. You can only do 1.5. And that's basically Searing Palm application. If not, then like if you're in a neutral game against like a destroyer or assassin or something, sometimes it's just good to put Searing Palm on them, because Searing Palm, like I said, it does small damage ticks, which takes assassins out of stealth, which is really good. It also drains chi from the other person. Yeah. So like against destroyers, you just put it on a destroyer, and then it just drains their chi. They're also movement slowed, and if they actually catch you in a combo again, then they have to watch the time or else they get knocked down. So yeah, that's pretty much the basics of KFM. These are like the new combos that people have been developing and using over time. And yeah, thanks for watching. Alright.